I started preparing it and realised that it's not going to be the same as showing you in real life. If we were together, in London, I would have brought in some VR headsets and shown you, but lots of videos. And then another time, hopefully I can show you in reality, because it's exactly the same. If I did a screen share, it'd be the same as the video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how we got the content into augmented reality, and the different technologies that we've developed at Copper Candle to make this possible. And it might be interesting to some of you that are making your own projects, because the idea is it makes it more accessible. What we're trying to do is find a way to make theatre industry. So, in the last talk we were talking about the value, the cost of making content being so expensive. We're hoping our technology will allow much lower access to that market by removing the need for a skilled Unreal Engine or Unity developer. So I'll explain that as we go. So what we were producing, first of all, is augmented reality apps. So this is the Unreal Engine template project, and we were using this to stream lighting desk data. So the lighting desk is a typical piece of equipment that you see in a theatre, and it allows control of hundreds of moving lights. And here we're converting that same technology to move objects around inside Unreal Engine. So we're able to change the materials, the colors, shape, positions, rotate and spin them. So this became a sort of a tool that would allow people to control live apps. There's a better demonstration of it here. This is a bit of a cheesy, not cheesy, it's a promotional video we made to demonstrate to some investor opportunities. And it sort of explains the principle of the data coming in. So at the bottom on the blue section, you can see all the live data coming in from the lighting desk. It's all binary data. A universe packet of data from a lighting desk is 512 bits, and you can see just at the bottom there, it's sort of flashing around as the numbers move, which has been used to control the position of the object. We can move it around, we can change its shape, we can scale it. All the same controls that you have in Unreal, we've just removed that and put it on the lighting desk, which is a user interface that's familiar to thousands of lighting operators in the theatre industry who at the moment are struggling for work. So we've given them an opportunity to upskill without having to need any new skills, because they can now operate Unreal using their technology rather than having to learn the complicated game engines. We deployed this on a project, the project I was just showing you, the Dream, and I'll let you watch it. We're having a creative discussion about where scenery should be in space. And you can see us moving the trees around, and they're watching the screen, and they're getting up into the space, walking around so they can see how they're interacting with it. So we're having a really iterative design conversation that helps us understand where the scenery needs to be relative to the performer. So we're really bringing those technologies together and seeing them at the same time. And this is all running in what we call runtime.
I think that it looks
so
like
it's
nature
live.
already reclaimed it, but they're trying to take it back again.
Yeah, I know what you're going for.
So that was a performer. She's just off camera, you can't quite see her, but she's walking around the space, seeing where the scenery is relative to
Very vivid. I love that.
So it was nice to have a creative conversation where we're using this technology to control.
I like the shadow.
Now, what we ended up doing, this was actually just 2 weeks ago. We finished this last Tuesday. So yeah, just a week and a half ago, we finished producing this. It's a real-time hyper reality experience using a combination of all the technologies we created for this Innovate UK project. So we were streaming lighting data to the VR headsets. VR headsets were being tracked using our motion capture system. So props they were holding, they were being tracked with in real time. And there's a live motion capture appearing inside the headsets. Now, what was important about this was to test that idea of live. Now, we put everything into this to make sure that the audience knew that it was a live experience. That was including the live act, we had live music, we had live haptic, infrared heaters and fans that were blowing hot and cold. And then this is what the audience was seeing inside the VR headset. There was several scenes of content. And what we could do is stand there in VR, see the content as a blank stage, and start bringing in assets and moving around. This is like creating the scene. And you can see the character being shown by the experience. Now, I should also point out that getting a motion capture performer into the space in VR, that was a feat that hasn't been done before. As the same for lighting data. I can't talk too much about it. Copper Candle is patented the technology that that allowed that to happen, but we've created our own streaming protocols that allows that content to go into the experience. So we're able to take motion capture data from our OptiTrack system, stream it into this new technology, then stream it back out via Wi-Fi onto Oculus headsets. But what we've done in the process of making that is develop something that's optimized to the point that we could stream it onto the cloud and then to any Unreal Engine project in the world. So that could be a VR headset, a mixed reality device, an AR app, a computer game running on a PS4 or a PC. You could have me sitting there on my lighting desk in the studio, motion capture performer in front of me, and the two streams of data go up into the cloud and then out to any device that's connected to our server. So we could have simultaneous live performances happening all over the world at the same time. So this is an opportunity to really test the idea that something needs to be eventful. We didn't have to have a motion capture performer. We could just trigger everything with a lighting desk. We could trigger pre-recorded motion capture, but we found a way of doing live motion capture, so we thought we'd try it. The performers didn't have to be in the space. They could have been elsewhere, and we could track them using the Oculus's headsets. So, this is us actually working in progress. So you can see the lighting desk. I'm moving the objects around using the lighting desk. I'll select a fixture, and then I'm moving it, and you can see it on the laptop moving around. And the only reason to go into the laptop at all really was just to move the camera around so we could see from different points of view. So it was a very cool technical process. This was the motion capture data coming in. One of the people was receiving data from our OptiTrack's client, which was coming from the motion capture studio's data. And then the other character is streaming it back out, acting as a bridge. And that character is basically streaming over the Wi-Fi using our very secret code that we've written. There was a bit of technical challenge. We had over a dozen headsets, VR headsets, that were all handshaking with the system. So they're all receiving the content live. Some were for the audience, some were being used by the director so we could walk around and create the production. But there was an interesting technical challenge that we tried to overcome with the difference between the physical space and the virtual space. We're trying to understand how we could identify where something was in the real world when we're in the virtual or vice versa. So we created what we ended up calling the assistant stage manager, who's normally a person, but in this case, it was a block of wood with some motion capture markers on it. And these became objects in the scene. So we used to carry them around and put them in places where we wanted to explain to somebody, like, it needs to be here. So we'd move it and watch on the screen and go, okay, right, a little more to the left. Okay, so that's where it needs to be. That's where that chair goes. Or we do it the other way around. Somebody in VR is walking around carrying these and pointing and going, I think can you see where my thing is? If it's over that way, that's the direction you want to move that object in. Then we could update it in the virtual world. So we're really trying to synthesize the virtual and the physical together. So it made the creative process more seamless. And then we also had to calibrate all of our VR headsets to the same location. And we discovered this during the process that we needed some way of locating them in the space. Now they all had tracking markers in the front. So that's the little spiderweb thing on the front. This is RB2, that's rigid body 2. That's a unique identifier that the motion capture system can track. And that sticks on the front of the Oculus headset. That comes off. It's not actually doing that much, but the Oculuses lose track of their content if they're not all started in the same place. So on the right is a flight case with one of the boxes that the VR headset came in, very firmly taped down, which always went in the same place every single time. We had tape marks on the floor, and everything went into that cradle, and that's where we turned it on, and we calibrated the position of the environment to that, so that everything was tracked, because we had objects that were props that were being tracked by the motion capture system. We had real people, we had motion capture people being seen, but they needed to be able to touch you, and the avatar needs to match. So there's loads of calibration of things to make sure they were connected. Anyway, that's it. Sorry, a picture of my children. So that was the project we produced, and I really wanted to show you. I was gonna set up an Unreal Engine instance that we're going to stream the motion capture data to and stream lighting desk data to, and show it running on a VR headset, and realize that what I'll be showing you is basically what I've just shown you there, only I risk it all breaking and probably interrupting my Zoom feed, because there'll be so much data over my Wi-Fi. So I abandoned it in the spirit of my presentation. Live maybe isn't necessary if you can show a pre-recorded version and get the same effect. So hopefully you don't mind that it wasn't real, but I'd love to show you in reality maybe next year at a conference.